Train's leaving the station. Okay. I'd like to call to order the City of Saugatuck City Council Workshop for August 21st, 2023. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Baldwin,
Here.
Muncy,
Here.
Leo's excused, Dean,
Here.
Stanton,
Here.
Gardner Slaves, Lewis,
Yes, here.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Could I just have a quick motion to approve Councilmember Leo's absence?
Move to approve Holly Leo's absence today.
Second.
Uh, Motion Lewis, second Stanton. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Motion carries. I don't believe we have any guest speakers. We do have some folks here for the discussion items.
Mhm.
So that will move us to public comment on agenda items only. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and limit them to agenda items only, please. Anyone in the audience wishes to offer public comment at this time? Seeing none, I will open it up to anyone on the Zoom call. We have very few on the Zoom call. Jamie, I don't see any hands raised. All right, that concludes item 5 of our first public comment period. There will be a final public comment period in a bit. We are now at 6 discussion items. Item A is the Hemlock Woolly Adalgid.
Mhm.
You see how I said that?
Very good, Mr. Mayor.
Contract, HWA contract. It's on page 2 of our packets. Ryan, anything you want to do to set this up?
Yeah, certainly, Mr. Mayor. City Council received a presentation from Allegan Conservation District in regards to treating the hemlock trees within city boundaries on public property. The ACD, bless you.
Thank you.
They went out for bids to treat the hemlock trees. That was part of your presentation. After the presentation, the city council adopted in their budget the funds to cover the costs that were presented by the ACD. And so we're recommending action at your Monday meeting to go ahead and move forward with the treatment, which would happen this fall if approved.
Very good. Any questions for the manager?
Just the one that I did pose yesterday at the Parks and Public Works, is I would like to know what our neighbors are doing, and I know that we don't have those answers right now, but for the township in Douglas, I want to make sure that if we're going to spend money, then it's going to be as effective as possible, given that it's something we all need to be doing.
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to chase down the answers to that.
Yeah, that'd be
Question
wonderful.
by Monday.
That'd be wonderful. I concur with Councilmember Baldwin that this would be more effective if the township and Douglas also participate. Otherwise, it's going to just kind of, creep back over,
Right.
creep out, either way you look at it. So, yeah,
So is the total amount 44,000? And then if Douglas and the township are in on it, they would contribute to that 44,000, or is that just for the city? The city's portion is only 44.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so if the township or City Village of Douglas were to join in, they would have to cover their costs.
Okay.
On page 8 and 9 of your packet, there's a list of private property owners that are also participating. But you'll notice that the acreage is nowhere near to the acreage that we're spending money on. So just to let you know, there are other groups involved, but mostly in Holland.
Mhm.
And do we know if those participants have agreed to their individual amounts, the private property owners?
That's my understanding.
Okay, that's great.
great. And I guess, Helen, not to put you on the spot, but good support on PPW for this, or has there been any kind of
Yeah.
discussion? Okay,
Anything with invasive species, I think that it's
Yeah,
almost always
okay, great.
unanimous.
wonderful. Anything else on this one?
It's great. Gotta get it
Great.
done.
Item B, Household Hazardous Waste Day, page 21.
Yeah.
Garnet, do you want to take that one?
Wow, that was fast. Yeah, so a little bit of news that we found out today, we were notified by Eagle that we did not get the electronics grant, which is a real bummer.
Okay.
So primarily because they said, Allegan County has electronic waste pickup at their Black Water site, I think it is, which I didn't want to respond back and say, yeah, but you got to be a member, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we're still moving ahead. Rotary is in for 10,000 as they have been in the past. So they're a big funder. And the STFD, the fire department, Chief Janik was phenomenal. He gives 1,000 in the past. He goes, I'm raising it to 1,500. So it's awesome. Cal Lake is going to help with the marketing. And I met with Daniel today and he's going to work on getting that ad ready for the paper. The township's in for 3,000 already. They approved it months and months ago.
Great.
And I've been working with Kathy North with the city of Douglas to see if we might get any kind of help just in case, because I do I do believe they'll have some Douglas folks show up, and I'm not gonna turn anybody away.
Right.
Well, we are gonna have the sign up again through the Sign Up Genius, because it just makes it easier to manage. And we'll be, putting the call out for some volunteers. We've already got a good number of the former members of the recycling committee. Have already stepped up, a couple of the Rotary folks already, so, we figure we probably need 10 to 12 volunteers total. It's an easy lift. ERG, who did it last year, is doing it again this year, and we're doing the styrofoam also, which is phenomenal, because usually folks will bring stuff and then they don't know what to do with the styrofoam and they just throw it away. So I'm really happy to have both collected this time. So it's really very similar to in years past. The only thing I didn't include in my request was approval for a sign at a banner at the pallet sign. So my understanding, should I get a special event permit in just to be
Yes, please.
consistent? Okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
Because, yeah, that came up today. Jim at Rotary at lunch was like, we'll do a banner again. So, okay. So,
Okay.
so it's pretty easy lift. Last year I asked for 3,000 from the city. I think it ended up costing us not even $1,000, just based on resident participation, and $899.91. And I don't anticipate that it's gonna really be any more than that,
Okay.
quite frankly. So,
So,
questions?
yeah, so if, even if Douglas doesn't come through, you don't expect to come back to the city for more than the three?
I don't,
Okay,
no,
okay.
I don't. So what's happening with Douglas, in case folks don't know, they renewed their waste hauler contract this past fall. And included in it was for them specifically household hazardous waste pickup. So that's already incorporated into their contract, and it's what folks are already paying for. So hopefully, I would hope that most people are aware that they have a mechanism to drop off household hazardous waste if they live in the city of Douglas. But, it takes some folks a while to pay attention to.
They
these
do that
things.
just curbside pickup, or is there
I think
a
it's-
drop-off
I think it's
location?
both. And I don't know, and our contract is up for renewal in the spring, which I'm looking very forward to.
Yes.
Cause I would love to incorporate that for us. And then, looking ahead, we could actually, so their contract they renewed with Republic. And what would be cool is if it ends up that way, that we actually, instead of having to do all the legwork ourselves, that it's something that Republic manages to put together, and then we participate. So we'll see,
That'd be
we'll
great.
see what happens. Yes, Gregory had a question.
This is a one-day event, right?
One day, 3 to 6.
And it costs $17,000 to have the environmental company come here and, no, where does that?
We are charged by the pound
Uh-huh.
based on the
Okay.
different types of waste so people drop off a lot of paint,
Oh,
that
okay.
needs, some of the electronics, the first year it was through the roof, how many electronics, and that's heavy stuff. Last year we didn't have nearly as much, but fluorescent light bulbs, and
Mhm.
you name it, the batteries still, people hold on to batteries. It's amazing. Yeah.
I just said, that's a lot for a one-day event.
We have some
Um,
folks that reach out, they have old gasoline and they've.
Oh,
kept it
sure. Oh, I
and
can imagine.
That, yeah, they'll take it. They'd rather take it than have them drop it out on the back 40 somewhere. So it's very good.
So we'll be able to drop off electronics, all of our styrofoam and all of that. Okay,
I'll
awesome.
have I'll get you,
Yeah.
so what I usually do on the Sign Up Genius is I have like a sheet that says, here are the items you can drop off. Here's
Okay.
what we don't accept. And if at the sign up, if they have some unique things, they either include it or they tend to either call the city or Scott at DPW, and then it gets directed to me as far as
Uh-huh.
whether or not they'll take it.
Uh-huh.
We collect still a lot of stuff. I mean, it's something to behold if you haven't been there just to see. And they have them in the big bins, they start collecting, and it's.
Yeah, I plan on stopping by and dropping off some things. But that, again, September 26th, and you'll have some media or some kind of flyer that we can all share around town, right?
Yeah, we sure will. The Facebook page, the Tri-Community Recycling page has already been, save the date. So, yeah, getting the word out.
I appreciate you taking the initiative to do something like this. It's something a lot of our residents talk about in this town is recycling, so.
Yeah, and we get a lot of calls. So just in comparison to last year was like 17,000. The year before, I think it was almost $27,000.
Oh, wow.
Because it was
So
huge
much.
amount of
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I almost had a heart attack. Rotary stepped in and saved us with the extra. It was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, yeah, go ahead. It may be worth to mention, unless you've already mentioned it, Cal Lake Sewer and Water, with their grant,
Yeah.
their
yeah,
advertisement.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really good. So Cal Lake Sewer and Water Authority is in charge of a wellhead protection program. So for all the municipal water, part and parcel to household hazardous waste, that Cal Lake Sewer and Water was able to obtain a grant to help us, market the program. So they're gonna cover the full cost
Yeah,
of the commercial record ad, which is around $700. I
Yeah.
think. So
yeah.
It's a good partnership
Yeah.
between the fire department,
Yeah.
the DPW, Cal Lake Sewer and Water.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're updating the, the flyer and the ad. In the past, it's had the Tri-Community Recycling logo and then the fire department logo. And Daniel's gonna plug in Cal Lake logo, just so they get some recognition for
Cool.
that. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Good community project. I think people get stoked about it.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, everything's on board with it. I mean, I know Daryl at Cal Lake was stunned when it was shared with him that people were turning in, pesticides that have been banned
Oh my God.
for decades, were showing up at the collection and, those are the things that would just be absolutely terrible for the watershed. So, yeah.
Yeah,
for
it's
the wellhead.
something when you see the pickup trucks drive up and they're just, the
Mhm.
back bed is just loaded with this stuff. But, like the chief has said, we'd rather collect it.
Yeah, for
and-
sure.
And they'd incinerate the living crap out of it, excuse my language. So, it's a great event.
Great. Anything else on Household Hazardous Waste Day? If not, we're at 6C, special event chili cook-off. We've got two representatives here, I believe, for the cook-off. Ryan, do you want to kick it off or do we want to hear from our guests?
Let's hear from our guests,
Okay,
please.
yeah. I'm
Come on
sorry,
up to the
I'm sorry, just,
microphone.
I know.
Sorry.
Sorry, just for the benefit of the limited.
Anybody?
By the way, the whole town is super excited to have the chili cook-off back this year.
Back,
Yeah,
I'm
it's been
already
a while.
hearing about it in town.
yeah.
And can you just give Jamie your name and address? just
My
for-
name
for
is
the record?
Anthony Doucette. I'm the Commodore for Cow Hill Yacht Club. We're planning the chili cook-off October 8th, 1 to 5. We are going to have we want it at Wicks Park.
Mhm.
We're going to have a beer and wine vendor and at least 10 different restaurants representing the area. We'll be charging at the gate, checking for IDs. There will be a marker, not a marker, but a stamp that we will put on the back of their hand, Cow Hill stamp, to prove that they're old enough to drink, et cetera.
Yeah.
And we hope to have a giant turnout, because last year we got shut down.
Yeah.
I was part of it, but somebody else shut it down, so. Any questions?
No.
Anything for council?
No, I'm just really glad it is back because it has been quite a few years and it
Yeah.
used to have a huge turnout. So,
Mhm.
and let's hope for really good weather in October for it.
Yeah, well, rain or shine, we're gonna put it on, so.
Good.
you know,
Right.
It should be quite an event. It was fun the last 3 times I was participated in it. And it's gonna be a riot again, so.
Mhm.
Great.
Great.
Do we get to see Rock Shop or will they be
Yes, you
performing
do
again?
get to see Rock Shop.
That's
They're-
awesome.
They are booked.
That's awesome. Yeah, we are really excited. It's a great locals event.
Yep.
Where a lot of us here in the neighborhood that live here like to hang out with each other. It's kind of like the end of the summer, kind of like, we can all breathe together and like, oh, we made it, everybody. But it really is a great event.
Right, but this does draw in people all the way from California, Texas,
True.
Florida, everywhere. I mean, people come here for that.
Mhm.
So it is a big event and we're proud to be putting it back on.
Great. Any other questions, any other discussion from council?
No, Great, thanks for doing this.
Okay,
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
very good. Thank you.
This will be on our agenda for Monday. Item D, microphone proposal for the chamber, page 32. Ryan, Jamie, who wants?
Jamie,
it?
do you want to take this one? I mean, I can lead in if you'd like. You want to pull that mic over? to-
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, speaking of mics.
So I just
Okay.
met with our AV. This is kind of like the last step in our whole revamp of the AV. I asked for 3 quotes, just an overview. Option 1 is just having what we have now. It's just upgraded microphones. Option 2, the electrical plug will actually be right here instead of on the floor where everyone kicks them over, mainly just Ryan, because they're all under Ryan's foot. So they just break because people don't know they're down there. So I thought it would be nicer to have them connected into the table instead of on the floor. And the last one is wireless, which that's just too expensive and doesn't make sense for the future. So these microphones are over 15, 17 years old, pushing 20. And so, yeah, we have a lot of complaints lately with them and just kind of doing finagling. So it'd be nice to have a new set.
So we're looking at option 2. Great. Any discussion, questions?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Apologize for arriving late. As we're looking at this, I think we originally heard a quote of about 10,000. Is that right? Did we go a little bit more, obviously over that? What led to just wondering, because we had been given an initial amount of 10 grand for them. And we're at 13.
These are the bids you got.
Yeah, these are the bids from AV. I was basing that off of, originally I had bought some microphones online, to try and replace them and kind of was using that as a budget. The 10 grand if we were to purchase one. We agreed with the electrical side of it and to get our experts. So it's a little bit more, so I was basing it off of us doing it in-house.
Okay, all right. And also too, I know that there's been comments here and there about just the ability of people that are listening online to be able to hear. I'm assuming the microphones will probably help with that, but also too, I think we should always be kind of always evaluating if we can improve the experience for everybody that not only in the room, but those that are online. And so this is an aspect of that. So just, if there's anything else that the city council or the city can do to make sure that's going to be the best experience for people that dial in, we should be always focused on that.
Great. Anything else? I'm assuming it includes the podium mic, right? Perfect, yeah. No, I know that one's been a problem. Okay, great. Anything else? Good. 6E, the donation box at Mount Baldhead, page 35.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead.
The description on this one, as you said, on page 35, members of the Historical Society would like to solicit donations to be used for the upkeep of Mount Baldhead public facilities. Members of the Historical Society recently installed a donation box at the base of Mount Baldhead stairs. I made a request to the group that they present their thoughts on the use of funds to the Parks and Public Works Committee, which they've done, and then receive approval from council with the explanation of the management of the donated dollars. Basically, administratively, and as your city manager, I'm really cool with the idea of collecting donations at the base of Mount Baldhead. I just want to make sure that we have a clear management chain of those funds and how they're utilized. As you can imagine, we have many non-for-profits in our area. If they all started setting up donation boxes, then we would have to do the same thing, like who's collecting the funds, who manages the funds, and where do they go? I just don't want to see the city in a position 2 years down the road where they're collecting funds and they're saying, well, we're going to use some of this for the pump house or for some other deal that they have with the Historical Society. So just want a clear chain of command as far as management goes. And Parks and Public Works, like I said, they did discuss this. There were no objections. The group that's doing this is just really passionate about making sure that the infrastructure is sound at Mount Baldhead. So, great. Any
I
discussion?
could ask a question,
Yeah,
a
go
couple of
ahead.
questions. Is it an actual cash box? And do we worry about that getting stolen?
Right.
I mean, I saw it when it was up there sort of on a renegade basis. I mean, it looked fairly secure. I suppose the question would be, what's their frequency of checking it?
Yeah, so those are the types of things that we need to have clarified. Miss Renee Zeta, who's a lovely person, says, she goes by there, nearly every day and she would be doing the collections. But I don't know if she's a year-round resident, so when does it start and stop? I mean, we just really need to legitimize the fact that we're having a donation box that could potentially collect quite a few funds. In addition to that, they want to put a QR code
Much better.
on their signage,
know,
which
yeah.
I've asked them to improve. And so if there are larger donations to be had, they could do that through the QR code, because not a lot of people carry cash with them when they're in that area.
If it can be, what exactly are the donations for, or somebody's donating, what do they think they're donating for?
Yeah, that's precisely the question that I want to make sure is clarified. is that
Okay, so that,
When these funds are received, what are they actually going towards?
does it help to keep the stairs together? Is it, you know, and if so, shouldn't that be donated to the city? Because we're the ones that, you know, keep it maintained.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, they've noted some deficits which we're well aware of, like the pavilion area, the stairs, the decking on top of the stairs, the restrooms, things that we're aware of. But yeah, that's the whole point, to your point, is that, like, when these funds are collected, let's make sure before we start this, we have a clear understanding on who receives these funds, how often they're collected, just kind of cash management, basic stuff.
Yeah, because that is city property, so we have to be, you know, careful, you know, and ask those questions. And then also, do you know how long that's been there? I just I don't remember it there. I haven't done the steps in a while. And I don't remember how long it's been there. Do you know how long?
About 2 weeks.
Okay, so they
Well,
just put it up.
Last time I was there, they had taken it down per our
Mhm.
request
Okay.
until we formalized it.
Oh, it was up last time I looked.
Okay, wait, last.
I don't think it was removed. Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll just, I do have a picture of the box
Yeah.
itself, so just, in this wording will be changed based on some of the requirements that the city's placing on this. Help us preserve Mount Baldhead stairs. Your generous donations help to operate, maintain, and improve the 302 steps to the summit where you can view Saugatuck, Douglas, and Lake Michigan. I met with Renee, because a citizen had sent me a picture of this and asked questions about it, and I found out it was Renee, and I went to meet with her over at Baldhead Park and talk with her about it. Her heart and her assistants that helped her with it, she didn't do this by herself, are exactly in the right place. And what we brought up with her and what the city has discussed with her is, it is on city property, and two is that we have to maintain and ensure that that money goes to exactly how it says here and who's actually behind this. And it's the Saugatuck Douglas History Center is where the monies, and that's kind of the spin on this. And then the monies will come to the city for the maintenance and improvement of the stairs. So I really applaud Renee for her personal passion. She paid for the box herself. It's not an inexpensive box. It was well installed. So for it to be broken into, you'd really, I mean, you could break into anything, but it's really secure. And I just appreciate Renee's effort. I mean, this is the kind of thing that people just get passionate about and they take action, and I really appreciate that. And Renee understands they have to go through a process to get to where they need to be to get it there. But I fully support, people that, get out there and get things done. The one thing that did come up though, is that there were 2 signs there that were warning about ticks. And I think a sign regarding dogs maybe, or
Yeah.
something.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think those signs have been removed. I'm not saying they removed them, but the signs apparently are gone, so that's probably something to know for Scott and his team, as well. And not a criticism, just an observation when I saw the picture of the box itself. And, this has started a conversation with Renee and others that really have a passion for Baldhead, including myself. So, I just want to applaud her efforts and thank her.
Great. Anything
And-
else on this one?
Yeah, I would just correct the motion that we'll be proposing on Monday. It's the Saugatuck Douglas History Center.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not History Society.
Yes,
Gotcha.
thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up in the description too. So yeah, we'll fix that.
Thank you.
Great. Anything else in this? If not, that takes us to, item 7, public comments. Once again, we have anyone in the audience? No. Anyone on the Zoom? I don't think so. So that's you. So, all right. So
You're the only one.
so that closes our final public comment of the night, of the afternoon. That takes us to item 8, which is closed session. It's pursuant to MCL 15.268H to discuss confidential written legal opinion regarding West Michigan Wireless. There's a sample motion before the council.
I'll make a motion to enter closed session to discuss confidential written legal opinion regarding West Michigan Wireless.
Second.
Okay, motion Muncy, second Lewis. All in favor? Or you need a roll call?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
I have a question. I question our need. I sent an email to the city manager and yourself, copied the city clerk as well as Councilmember Let's see, I question the need for us to move into closed session for this particular discussion. We are not discussing a strategic or a legal strategy.
I hate
Here-
to interrupt you, Russ, but I think we had a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
And we need to vote on the motion, then you can discussion, then we can discuss.
Okay.
Before we go in.
Mhm.
All in favor, or is it a roll call, Jamie? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
No.
all right. Motion still carries.
Yes,
Oh, sorry.
yes.
Yeah, motion carries. Oh, you got it? All right, we're back in open session. We are now in item 10 of our agenda, council comments. I'll start with Helen, if you don't mind.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
I want to thank Helen Baldwin for showing up at the West Shore Aware fundraiser at the Ivy House last Saturday. It was great to have more city representation there. Great event. We raised a lot of money. I had fun being the auctioneer. Isn't that fun?
Was fun.
And we raised a lot of money and glad that event happened. Also, I was back there again, last night for the, Fund the Park by Douglas, the city of Douglas, a lot of folks there. I think maybe some Saugatuck parents might get a little bit of inspiration, for all the great work that they've done in Douglas, with raising money to replace park equipment. Be nice to see some of the Saugatuck folks do that for our parks as well, because as we know, our village park there, that play equipment's gonna need to be replaced pretty soon, as we've been told by Scott from DPW. But that was a great event as well. Ruth Crow was at both events, and I wish she would have wore her wig again last night, because she was hot to trot, my friends, on Saturday night. And she was all in drag in a beautiful, beautiful wig. And she was part of the auction where they auctioned off folks and their experiences that they were sharing with folks. It was something different that they did for West Shore Aware. But I'll tell you, we're all still talking about Ruth and that wig.
I know I'm only speaking to a handful of us here, but just be patient with all of our businesses in town because all of the college kids have gone back to school and we are all incredibly short-staffed.
Mhm.
So if you can't get into your favorite restaurant or if you can't do some things in town, just know we are all very short-staffed right now.
Go ahead, Russ.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks for mentioning that because my daughter is picking up a lot of hours right now, 2 jobs because of that change. So yeah, it's end of season and it's beneficial to her pocketbook. I do want to mention, and I'm going to mention this again, is and the mayor made mention of it, is that we have a lot of strategic priorities that have been given to us by our citizens. But what it calls into question in my mind is the Saugatuck itself does not have a true strategic plan. And most communities have a true strategic plan, which is actually developed with a vision and mission. If you've been in business, this is very typical for organizations to go through. And the city itself, at least from my understanding, we don't have a formal strategic plan, which then would put these items underneath specific strategic objectives. I would like to encourage the city and the council to begin talking about doing that process. I think it would be beneficial to our community. And it'd be beneficial to the council as well as mostly beneficial to our city staff as they manage projects and ideas. So I'm going to be bringing this up. This is an idea that I'd like to see us take action on.
Go ahead, Karen.
Okay. I think that's what we've been doing for the last several years is strategic planning and helping. So I'll just leave that at that. It's been done. We do it every year. We bring in a facilitator. We do strategic planning. We help give the staff direction. So with that, I have no other comments.
All right, I'll wrap things up. Yes, to Lauren's point, it'll take you longer to get an espresso at Woosah and longer to get an ice cream at Charlie's because Elsa's off to Western on Friday. So I'm gonna be in Kalamazoo Friday, moving her into her dorm. And with that, I think we should all try to stay cool today. I think the heat index is over 100, so let's stay cool and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion Lewis, second Stanton. All in favor, please say yes.
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
Chewbacca.